Hello, radio family. Welcome to the reading of the Times Reporter newspaper for Thursday, September 24th. My name is Pam, and an unusual circumstances today. There are no death notices listed in today's online edition of the Times Reporter. That's kind of a blessing. So let's begin with our first story. Tuscarora's Board of Election receives grant. The Tuscarawas County Board of Elections recently received a $42,291 grant from the Center for Tech and Civic Life to support work done during the presidential general election cycle. The county received over 12,000 absentee ballot applications. Workers must process and send out those ballots by October 6th. For information, you can call 330-343-8819. Well, Tuscarawas County returns to the orange virus threat level. Tuscarawas County has moved up a level in the state's color-coded COVID-19 warning system. The county moved back to orange from yellow on the map this Thursday afternoon, indicating an increased exposure risk and virus spread in the community. County Health Department officials say the change is the result of sustained increase in cases across 5 or more consecutive days, and at least half of the cases in the last 3 weeks occurring in a non-congregate setting. They're advising residents to continue wearing face coverings, conducting daily symptom checks, and social distancing. Most of the restart plans for area school districts remain the same whether the county is in orange or yellow, but the ones for Dover and Tusky Valley call for a hybrid model combining in-person and online instruction. Up next, Uhrichsville officials honor donut shop owner, former auditor. Uhrichsville leaders are recognizing a local business whose pastries have been drawing people downtown since 1976. Rod's Donut Shop owners Rod and Linda Smith were presented with a proclamation of appreciation during a recent council meeting signed by council and city administrators. Councilwoman Amy Myers said honoring businesses is something new for the Special Recognition Committee since she took over as chair. Council during the meeting also recognized former auditor and lifelong Uhrichsville resident Jody Dunlap for her more than 4 decades of service to the city. She started in 1970 and retired in 2014. Up next, Anti-Drug Coalition still using Fair Week to educate virtually. Tuscarawas County Anti-Drug Coalition officials are sharing prevention information with area youth and their families virtually this week since they're not able to set up at the fair this fall. Member Diane Smith says they will be hosting a live informational video on the coalition's Facebook page each night of the fair from 6 to 6:30 p.m. She says it started Monday with an introduction to the Anti-Drug Coalition and its committees, with discussions on other prevention-related topics scheduled for the rest of the week. Smith says community members who tune in and interact with these posts will be entered in a nightly drawing for a chance to win a gift card or coalition swag such as highlighters, frisbees, t-shirts, and coloring books. Smith says Tuesday's discussion on marijuana included a link to the coalition's community survey on the topic. She said it's completely anonymous, but if someone messages the coalition on Facebook saying they've completed it, they will be entered into the prize drawing. And now, Team RWB helps keep Bolivar Riverfront clean by Lori Feeney. About 2 miles along the banks of the Tuscarawas River in Bolivar are looking much better thanks to the cleanup efforts of the Akron-Canton chapter of Team Red, White, and Blue. The Veterans Support Group has adopted a mile of the towpath trail near Fort Lawrence, and about every 3 months they show up to clear the area of litter and debris. This month they noticed the River Community Park area was looking unkept, so they stopped to tidy it up as well. Josh Keene is captain of the Akron-Canton chapter, which covers a geographic area from just north of Akron all the way to Zanesville and has around 1,100 members. The national organization is headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. According to Keene, the mission of Team RWB is to enrich the lives of veterans through community service and physical and social activity. The group's community service efforts range from volunteering at local food banks and community events to performing trash pickup. But Keene said their primary activity is running races. All of the races we run and give money to charities, so it's a win-win, Keene said. Each year, the chapter hosts a national event called the Eagle Up Ultra. The race takes place in Canal Fulton at the St. Helena Heritage Park. It's a 5-mile loop, and participants have 24 hours to run as many loops as they can, Keene said. It's an absolute blast. Keene said members run everything from 5K races to ultra marathons, but rucking also is becoming quite popular. Rucking is basically walking while carrying a weighted backpack. The term rucking comes from the word rucksack, which is military slang for a backpack. A lot of veterans have physical problems that prevent them from running or bicycling, Keene said. Some rucking events can get pretty extreme, making participants navigate obstacle courses and pick up heavy objects like logs along the way. Rucking is just as good a cardiovascular workout as running, but it's easier on the joints, Keene said. On the social side, members of Team RWB Akron Canton participate in yoga, bike and brew events, Taco Tuesdays, bowling, and other activities. Canoeapalooza, which was canceled this year, is a canoeing event on the Tuscarawas River. Last year, we had upward of 70 people floating down the river and going to dinner afterwards, Keene said. Keene and his wife, Lisa, became members of Team RWB Cleveland about 5 years ago. The couple had taken up running to improve their health and had attended the Cleveland St. Patrick's Day run, where they spotted a runner carrying an American flag and wearing a Team RWB t-shirt. Intrigued, they made their way to the RWB canopy to learn more. The Cleveland chapter became so large it divided about 3 years ago to form the Akron Canton chapter. How to get involved? Keene said the group is always looking for new members and local partnering organizations. We welcome companies, universities, and other organizations that want to partner with us either locally or nationally to enrich the lives of veterans and help us achieve our goals, he said. Corporate sponsors do everything from providing bottled water and races to funding chapters or specific events. National sponsors include Nike, Starbucks, and Google. A lot of companies have their own veterans group and want us to engage with them to either do a 5K or promote health within the organization, Keene said. Companies wishing to donate money to Team RWB locally should go through the national organization to do so. As for individual involvement, membership is free and open to both veterans and civilians. Our chapter is about 60% veterans and 40% civilians, Keene said. On its website, the national organization says it gives veterans the opportunity to reclaim what was most precious about their military service, an unwavering sense of belonging. Members have credited Team RWB with giving them a sense of camaraderie and saved many from the depths of depression and PTSD. People wishing to join can do so at www.teamrwb.org. There, they will be directed to the local chapter, a calendar of events, and Keene's contact information. There's also a phone app members can download. I don't know about you, but I've been rucking for years. How many of us have carried a baby on one hip and laundry in the other while we stop to take a pan off the stove? I don't know about you, but I don't need to carry logs in a heavy backpack. So let's move on. Senior Center to close doors Monday. Some services continue. The head of the Tuscarawas County Senior Center in Dover says the state's reopening guidelines are so restrictive that they're going to have to close down the building. Executive Director Jamie Smith says the center had been operating since May 1st under the guidelines for restaurants and fitness centers, but that changed Monday when a new order went into effect mandating bi-weekly COVID-19 testing for staff. She said it would cost in excess of $10,000 a month for the center to meet that requirement, which puts a huge strain on the nonprofit's budget. As a result, Smith They're going to have to close the building and suspend on-site dining and fitness classes starting Monday, but seniors will still be able to order carry-out meals and access other essential services. She's asking members for their patience and understanding. Smith says the services and programs that are continuing are sustained by the center's 0.8 mil operating levy that's up for renewal in November. Did you know Maddie DeVault named the 2020 Fair Queen by Terry Stein? Maddie DeVault, 17 of Dover, was named the 2020 Fair Queen as the announcement kicked off the 170th Tuscarawas County Fair on Monday morning. She also won a $250 scholarship. DeVault, a senior at Dover High School, is the daughter of Keith and Stephanie DeVault. She's an 8-year member of the Brandywine 4-H Club. DeVault was crowned by outgoing King and Queen Justin Scott of Port Washington and Megan Murphy of Mineral City. There were no candidates for Fair King this year. Wendy Vogel served as Master of Ceremonies for the event. It was not an easy decision, and it gets tougher and tougher each year, Vogel said, noting this is the 25th recorded year of the fair crowning royalty. The Tuscarawas County Fair Queen is decided by a panel of 3 judges who are familiar with or have worked at fairs but are not involved with the Tuscarawas County Fair. The entrants must write an essay and then are interviewed by the judges to select the winner. Other entrants were Marin Chrismar, 17 of Dover, the daughter of Dr. Stephen and Megan Chrismar, attends Garraway High School, and is a member of the 4-H Pioneers. Michaela Corpman, 16 of Tuscarawas, the daughter of Ed and Sue Corman, attends Indian Valley High School and is a member of the Happy Homesteaders 4-H Club and the Indian Valley FFA. Vidalia Porter, 18 of Strasburg, the daughter of Charles and Mandy Porter, attends Cleveland State University and is a member of the Happy Harvesters 4-H Club. And Tracy Zerfley, 16 of Dover, a daughter of Sean and Sarah Zerfley, a student at Indian Valley High School, and is a member of the Brandywine 4-H Club. DeVault said serving as Fair Queen has always been a dream of hers. I'm super excited. I really wouldn't be here doing this if not for Michaela Miller, who was our 2018 Queen. She brought it to my attention about how much you get to do and how much you get to travel, DeVault said. DeVault entered the competition last year but didn't win, so she decided to try again. DeVault shows lambs and hogs for 4-H. She's currently serving as the Wool Queen for Tuscarawas and Coshocton counties. As a representative of the fair, she is going to promote the entire event. Every animal in the barn, every miscellaneous project, they all deserve recognition, she said. The fair means so much to everyone, and that's something DeVault also recognizes. The fair comes together amazingly for 1 week in September, and it's a shame it's only 1 week, DeVault said. We all wish it was all year long, but it's our 1 week in September to show off all our kids and our work that we've done all summer long, especially this year with us not really knowing what we were allowed to do, if we were going to have a fair or not. All these kids stuck with it, and now they have the opportunity to show off all their hard work. DeVault thinks this year's fair will be a success, regardless if we have to wear masks or stay 6 feet apart, but I think we are going to make the best of it, and I think we're going to come out on top, she said. Uncertainty and a new way of doing things at the fair sales with in-person and online bidding doesn't concern DeVault. We have great buyers come and support us every year. We just ask that if you do come to the fairgrounds, wear your mask and follow social distancing, she said. Keeping everyone safe will ensure the fair continues this year. DeVault already has her college year mapped out. After playing softball for Dover High School and on a traveling team with players from all over the state and West Virginia, she was awarded a softball scholarship from Robert Morris University in Pennsylvania. I actually came right out of the arena from last year's Queen contest, and a college representative called me and gave me that offer, DeVault said. I'm really excited to go over there, play softball for 4 years, and pursue a biology degree. Pre-med is going to be somewhere in there, dermatology hopefully, but I'm excited to start my 4 years over in PA. The 2019 King and Queen did their best over the past year, but were disappointed they were unable to attend more fairs during their reign due to the pandemic. When we look back at this time last year, we had no idea what we were in for, said Scott, the 2019 king. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I'm so glad I experienced it, said Murphy, 2019 Fair Queen. The Fair Board partnered with Tuscarawas County Health Department this year to assure they provide a safe event for the youth fair exhibitors and their families. Officials from the health department visited the fairground on Monday morning and were pleased with the safety plan that was put in place. They went through the barns and checked on the food vendors, and they will be returning later in the week, Chris Kendall of the OSU Tuscarawas County Extension said. She added that their only concern was people gathering near the barns. Other events on Monday included the Beef Show and Beef Showmanship, sponsored by Wendy's Restaurants, Goat Showmanship and Goat Show, sponsored by Trinity Hospital, Twin City, and the Lamb Show, Sheep Breeding Show, and Sheep Showmanship, sponsored by American Family Insurance, Tina Armstrong, agent. The time for the Thursday livestock sale was changed to noon this year. The dairy product sale will be held Friday at 3 p.m., and the small animal sale on Saturday will be held at noon. Up next, Hooked on History, 164-year-old Harrison County Church, Torn Down, by John Baker. The story of Plum Run United Methodist Church came to a close on September 2nd when the 164-year-old building was torn down. The church, located about 4 miles south of Bowerston in Monroe Township, Harrison County, had been sitting empty for decades and was in poor condition. The congregation disbanded in 1994. The church got its start when the congregation purchased land from John and Jane McCullough on April 22, 1836 for $5. The original church was built of logs. The first trustees were Hugh Burney, James Cumming, John Sterling, and Samuel Patterson. The second church was built in 1856 of frame construction. The seats were divided in the center. One side was for the men, the other for the women. In the late 1800s, many of the residents of Plum Run Valley worshiped at the church. Among them were Jeremiah and Anna Brown, natives of Ireland, and Andrew Greenlees. In the 1890s, commemorative biographical record of Harrison and Carroll counties, Greenlees was described this way. Andrew is noted for his manliness and at an early age united with the Plum Run Methodist Episcopal Church, of which he was soon made a class leader and superintendent of the Sunday school. Another prominent couple that worshiped there was John and Catherine Macaulay, who owned a farm north of the church. John Macaulay was a native of County Tyrone, Northern Ireland. He came to America with his parents in 1833 and settled on a farm in Monroe Township in 1840. He was a class leader and trustee of the church. His farm was the site of the first annual Harvest Home Picnic of the Bowerston Methodist Episcopal Circuit, of which Plum Run was a part. The event, held on August 27, 1898, was well attended. The Plum Run Choir, the Uhrichsville Mandolin Club, entertained with music. The Bowerston correspondents for the Cadiz Republican newspaper wrote, Professor Wingate sang 2 solos. The Bowerston band added much to the music by their presence. Reverends McGaha, Walters, and Stewart, and Attorney Mintier helped out with choice speeches. A man from China spoke on missionary work. Easter services at Plum Run were held a week later in April 1900. The program was carried to its fullest, a correspondent from the Cadiz paper wrote. A large and complete choir assisted by the congregation rendered the choicest of music, while the literary productions were given by Mrs. Emma Fowler and Nettie Utterback and Mrs. Cora Burney. The small members of the Sabbath School also gave many recitations worthy of mention. In 1903, the church was remodeled with one door at the front. New pews, carpet, and a pulpit were installed. The pulpit was made and donated by John McDevitt. A new large Bible was a gift from Jane and Ellen Parker. Plum Run was remodeled again in the years between 1956 and 1958, when 2 pot-bellied stoves were replaced with a modern fuel oil furnace. In the 1970s, a vestibule and additional rooms were added. By the time the church closed in 1994, it only had 16 members. Plum Run had enough money to pay its bills, but it didn't have enough money to pay for needed structural repairs to the building, which were estimated to cost between $30,000 and $60,000. In addition, bees had made small holes in the side of the church. Spraying efforts had not worked to eradicate them. So the congregation decided to disband. The final service was held June 25th, 1994. The cemetery surrounding the church dates to 1840 and is maintained by the Monroe Township Trustees. What a wonderful piece of history. Moving on, Roger Lyle, honored for years of service to Kent State's Tuscarawas by John Baker. Tuscarawas County Commissioners paid tribute Wednesday to Roger Lyle, who is completing 41 years of service on the Kent State University at Tuscarawas Branch District Board of Trustees. His last day on the board is September 30th. During his time at Kent State Tuscarawas, the campus has grown from one building, Founders Hall, to now include 4 buildings and the Performing Arts Center, and to have an assessed value of $83 million. You're not one that sits back and watches things happen. You are the one that makes things happen, Commissioner Chris Abul told Lyle before the board a resolution in Lyle's raw offer. Added Commissioner Al Landis, I think what you did here in Tuscarawas County is very special, but it goes beyond your years of service and wisdom to the board. It's what you did in your other professional life, the countless people who call you friend, who call you mentor. Commissioner Joe Scaretti said Kent State Tuscarawas is a gem of the community. It goes without saying that it has had a significant impact to the community, he said. You have made a significant impact to the community with your leadership and your direction. Brad Bilski, Dean of Kent State Tuscarawas, noted that Kent State President Todd Diakon attended Lyle's last board meeting. Diakon said board members don't always get the recognition they deserve. Certainly, Judge Lyle and other members of the board have really been the long-range vision of the campus. It's so important, Belsky said. A New Philadelphia native, Lyle served as judge of the Court of Common Pleas in Tuscarawas County from 1981 to 1998. He graduated from Case Western Reserve University of Law with a Juris Doctorate in 1970 after obtaining his bachelor's degree in history from Western Reserve University in 1966. He also served in the U.S. Army as a special agent in the 109th Army Intelligence Group. Lyle thanked commissioners for their kind words. I remain on the board 41 years because of the great leadership of the other trustees and the deans who have been selected by Kent State University, and in my mind, especially the present dean, Brad Bilski, who has done a phenomenal job, he said. The other reason I remained on the board is my belief that education is the great equalizer in our republic. He concluded by saying Kent State began as a field of corn, but has truly become a field of dreams, and I have been a privilege to be a part. And now, 30 seconds. If I were a police officer in Dover or New Philadelphia and I needed to write traffic tickets for the amount of people who cannot use their turn signals, I would need to call for backup. People, use your turn signals. If you don't, I hope you get a ticket. Money could be used to fix the potholes. Next, this is in response to the parents suing the state over the mask mandate in schools. That is ridiculous. It has nothing to do with being political. It's to do with the safety of yourself and your children. I'm a Christian and I believe in wearing a mask. It's just a piece of cloth. Our doctors have been wearing them for a long time, so get over yourself. Last one. I wish these people running to be elected would honor the no soliciting signs on our houses. We do not want to be bothered, or the signs would not be there. If you have an opinion, an answering machine is on duty 24 hours a day. You could call 330-364-1939 or email opinions@timesreporter.com. Callers should speak slowly after the beep. Personal attacks, obscenities, intolerant, or biased messages are not accepted. Well, family, this concludes the reading of the Times Reporter for Thursday, September 24th. My name is Pam. You know, as always, stay safe until we meet here again. You be blessed and do what you can to make today a great day.